Hi, friend.
Hi, friend. Are you ready?
Ready for what?
To level up.
Okay, girl, let's get started. Hi, friends. Welcome to another episode of Level Up with Raman and Alysha.
On today's episode, as Alysha and I go through wedding season and all the hecticness and craziness, we're going to talk about setting realistic expectations for your wedding. Now, Alysha is married. I am not. You might be thinking, who is this girl about to talk about weddings? But, if you've been listening to us, Alysha and I do wedding planning and wedding coordination. So we have lots of experiences with weddings and different kind of brides. And one thing that we always like to tell our brides is that you have to expect things to go wrong. You can't sit there and think that, obviously people want perfection and people want the day that they're spending all this money on to go as smoothly and perfectly as it can. But Alysha and I have experienced that, maybe some of these are things that we see behind the doors, behind the curtains, behind the scenes that the bride and groom might never get to see, but
behind the chimney
but we have seen it that I don't think we've ever had a wedding where everything went like
perfect.
There was no issue.
There's always something. There's always a small detail or a big detail. It just depends. Like for instance, our most recent wedding, as coordinators, I feel like wedding planners and coordinators are instantly blamed for everything because they think you did this entire production.
Yeah.
But it takes a bunch of vendors to come together to make it a date, right? A special day especially. So our most recent wedding, we had decor done. It was an outdoor venue, and the decor, because it was windy, fell. And it's 10 feet?
Yeah.
Poles?
We picked it up and then it fell again. And then we picked it up and then fell again.
Yeah. And it could have fallen on someone. These are metal poles, right? It could have caused someone to get hurt. It's a lawsuit waiting to happen. And instantly people blame us, And it's also the fact that wedding planners and wedding coordinators are not always in charge of other people's work in that sense. But yeah, we'll save the day, we'll fix it in that moment. But something you wouldn't even think that would happen happens, right? So something like decor, or something as small as I think another thing that South Asian brides or makeup artists don't think about is that South Asian bridal makeup is so heavy and it takes hours to do, but then they send them with nothing.
Yeah.
And so what happens if your lipstick runs dry? Now you've had water falling on you, a bride we had.
Yeah.
Water fell on her.
I've never seen... Okay, so I've gotten makeup done, but obviously not bridal level makeup. But, pretty decent amount of makeup. And I feel I've had, when you're drinking water and you spill water on yourself, and, I just dab it and it doesn't really, affect it too much. So I've never seen water hit the face and... It I don't know if you saw how it looked, but I was
it's because she was matte. Her makeup was all matte. That's why. Because I've gotten my makeup done numerous times, even for just friends' weddings. I used to get my makeup and hair done all the time. It's because she did everything matte, and her face was really powdered. I noticed the powderness, so she must have gone for a more natural powder look.
Yeah.
I don't think she didn't even do full foundation.
How can you not do foundation?
Some people don't, right?
Yeah,
depends on your skin type too.
Because they had she had the same makeup artist as her previous bride's makeup artist, so that's why I was just very shocked.
No, but you could tell right away by looking at her face; it was very, very powdered.
Okay.
Yeah.
So so this wedding, for example, so Alysha and I kind of have to do damage control, and now we're picking up poles off the ground and
managing
them,
time.
And we could tell that people are probably just did they fuck this up? No, sir, we're just doing damage control right now. I remember one time, somebody at a wedding, got mad at us because one of the food items was running empty. And I was I can get more food, but I don't control the food.
I don't cook the food. I'm not the one who owns the hall. So there's just so many things that can go wrong. And I feel that's the downside of people thinking that when they hire wedding planners or wedding coordinators is that, they won't get everything done. The thing is,
or that like things won't go wrong because they have a coordinator. And I think our job, and Alysha and I say it from the beginning, because like now we've seen it, we've gone through it, that hey, like something's gonna go wrong, and then they'll be like, but let's try it to not, but we're like, but it will.
We tell them. And we like have expectations for at least 5 things to go wrong. Yeah. So that way, if only 2 things go wrong, you're still winning.
I don't feel like they like it when we say that.
They hate it when we say that.
Because they're like, why are we... I could picture it. I'd be like, why am I hiring you if things are going to go wrong? But it's not about like things going wrong. It's about like the damage control that we do. But I think we have had brides before where they have had these like unrealistic expectations that nothing is going to go wrong, and that everything is kind of going to be like perfect and seamless. And like Alysha mentioned, it could be something very small. So I was even saying at our like this wedding that I'm like, this is the first wedding where the bride's galita hasn't broken off. Like, I literally, every bride, I don't know, they're so flimsy that it's like something that you wouldn't even...
Well, she was barely moving, too.
But you know what? It wasn't her galita, but the umbrella's galita thing broke off. Yeah. So she's like, well, those still broke off. I'm like, okay, that's fair. But even like, and she's like, oh, well, that's a really small thing. Although she does not know about the big things that happen behind the scene.
She has no clue yet.
But like, I feel like, what do you do if you're a perfectionist?
It's hard. I guess as a perfectionist, you have to learn that things won't always go your way. You know, as much as you can put in the time of planning and trying and hiring the right people, I think just expecting to know that one thing may go wrong and it's not the end of the world. It's not going to ruin your special day because it's not going to impact you or your fiance or your husband to be. I think that's the most important thing. Like, remember the purpose of why you're there. Remember all eyes are on you before you react.
Yeah. And I feel like you and I are very good at telling our brides and grooms that hey, like if something goes wrong. But I have seen myself say that to somebody and like not necessarily the other person say it back, but like reflect the energy that like, no bitch, I care. Like, you know, where it's like, because Alysha and I are very like, and I think even like when it is time for my wedding, like I am gonna have that realistic expectation that like, hey, say if decor fell at my wedding, like I'm not gonna let that ruin my whole mood. Yeah, it'd be a shitty thing, but it's like not going to.
That's like, not the bigger picture.
That's not the bigger picture. And
but then I feel like this has also helped us learn from other people's mistakes.
Yeah, like Anissa's wedding, how her cake tier, like a whole cake tier fell.
Now, if I could go back and do my wedding over, there's so many things I would do differently.
Like what?
Starting right from the Melanie. Like, there's so many things I would do differently. Yeah, 100%. I tell Amit all the time.
But things that you felt like you were not satisfied with at the moment?
Satisfied. I could have probably put more planning into. I could have assigned more things to people. I didn't delegate enough. And I think that's where the planning failed.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think you did great.
Thanks.
For planning a destination wedding all on her own,
Thanks.
I think you did phenomenal. And I wasn't even really helping you at that time. Imagine I did.
I know.
That probably would have... Hey, I was there.
It's okay.
I was chilling.
I got you for your wedding.
Exactly. But I understand that I feel like you would...
And you know, when you build an itinerary, like that's one of our biggest things that we build with our bride and groom. I think the bride and groom think that's like rock solid in print, but we sometimes as vendors put leeway knowing that something can go wrong. But I think our bride and groom is like, but the time says on the itinerary, but you were like an hour late or half an hour late. And I don't think people put into consideration that we can't just make things happen. We can't skip 3 hours of things just because you were late.
Yeah.
And I feel like people also fail to understand that, and that timing is not set in like place. It could be changed by 5 to 10 minutes.
I agree with you 110%. I think timing is the most unrealistic expectation that people have for their wedding.
It is.
The fact that people think like, oh, I'm gonna leave my house at 9. Okay, cool. When the fuck does that ever happen?
Never.
Like, you know, the only time we ever leave for time is like when we have to go to our job, and half the time like we're late for that too.
Yep.
But timing is absolutely one of the things that people are unrealistic about. Like, they'll be like, and you know what, Alysha and I have to ask those kind of questions, like, are you somebody who's always late? Because then if you're gonna say you're gonna leave at 9, you're probably not gonna leave at 9, and now you're pushing a whole itinerary forward. But being realistic, like, okay, for example, at our last wedding, the groom Sarah was like falling, right? And then they spent you know how excruciating it was to stand there and watch them spend like 10 minutes trying to fix it?
Yeah.
I'm like looking at my clock and I'm like, fuck, this has been 10 minutes. And 10 minutes is so crucial during like a timing where it's like your wedding needs to start. Yeah.
So then I think the other thing people don't realize is sometimes, like we had a bride who was, okay, this is so unrealistic on vendors' parts. Our bride was wearing shorts underneath her lehenga, because if you've ever had to wear a lehenga that's like freaking 10 pounds to 15 pounds,
Yeah.
you know it's going to scratch up against your skin. It's heavy and you're going to sweat.
Yeah.
So you're like, you know, sometimes like little booty shorts are easier, right?
Yeah.
So she gets pinned in with the lehenga, the shorts, and her chunni.
Yeah.
So how the fuck is she supposed to go to the bathroom?
I don't know. Literally,
I had to get under her skirt and help her.
she still didn't pee.
She still hasn't peed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that was, as a vendor, like something definitely missed.
That was
on
a
her
fail
part.
for
Yeah.
a very high-end vendor.
Yeah.
How did that make sense to
Like,
you?
how did you think?
Like,
that
I
she
was like,
going to go
when
to
I
the
got
bathroom
under there,
after?
I was like, guys, she's pinned to the chunni, pinned to the lehenga and the shorts.
Yeah.
And if I undo the chunni, I can't guarantee
that it's gonna look the same.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, right? And these are not things that we necessarily like.
But I think we
about
need to learn
as-
this stuff.
Yeah, for
Maybe
sure.
we need to learn that. But outfits are another expectation of things that can go wrong.
Yeah.
What if something falls on your outfit, which hopefully it doesn't?
Yeah.
But that can be something, or something breaks off. If you've ever seen a South Asian bride, you know there's a million pieces to her outfit.
It's like 50 pounds that she's wearing.
Or her like nose ring doesn't sometimes stay in.
I feel like that's a very common thing that I see breaking off, the nose ring.
Always. And they are heavy to wear. I don't even have a real nose ring, and I wore one.
And the kalire, like 90% of the weddings, the kalire are breaking. I feel like Alysha and I have been tying them with like safety pins. At the last one, it was with dental floss. So, I mean, but I think the main thing is, it's like knowing beforehand. Like, if you're getting married or you're planning your wedding, and yeah, we want our fairy tale dream, perfect, magical wedding, but creating that mindset from the beginning that, like, hey, if something does not go exactly the way it is, there's still, if one thing doesn't go right, there's still 9 other things, and you have to kind of appreciate. And I'm trying to think of like something that has gone so bad.
So another thing is, something on the smaller point is like your marriage certificate and your like ring bands. And I feel like people, like South Asian weddings especially, they don't assign anyone to have that, right? So they're like, oh, mom and dad will just bring it, or my sibling will just bring it. You can't always rely on someone else. That's why it's like so important to like also be prepared and organized on the wedding week or prior to your wedding week. Have everything in containers that need to be at your venue. Have things ready to go, because guaranteed someone's going to forget something.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to think if anyone's ever forgotten their rings.
Not rings, but we've had marriage certificate almost forgotten. The chunni forgotten.
The chunni.
Yeah, to walk in under.
Whatever happened to that chunni?
No clue.
Still MIA.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah. And you know what? And that bride, like, she reacted. I mean, I don't know if she was upset about it because she didn't mention it, but the fact that, like, I know the chunni was so important to her, and the sister-in-law was saying that she wants like that specific chunni, not any chunni. Like, that's the one she wants. And I know that that could have thrown her off, because you're about to enter, go down the aisle, and then you don't have like the one thing that you want over your head. But you know what? I feel like she could have kind of been really upset at that moment, but she chose like not to. She chose not to be, and she still chose to walk down, enjoy, and like kind of like have fun,
because she knew the bigger purpose was she's marrying the person she loves. And I think that's one thing everyone forgets in that moment. You've spent so much time and money getting ready for this one day, and it's a lot of pressure for a bride. I think it's so unrealistic and unfair to a bride that she only gets 24 hours to have this time, not even 6 hours, to like have this moment, be the bride. And it's like anything can go wrong, anything can happen. Not even just that, like, all eyes are on you. So you can't even flip out at the dumb people in your family.
Yeah. So I was talking to a bride literally yesterday. So I don't know, she's so stressed out. She said she had a missed call from me, but I swear I never called. Like, I went through my phone and I'm like, so my bride that I have for tomorrow, right? So I was like, what's up? And she's like, I don't know, you called me. And I was like, I didn't call you. And then I was like, it's okay. She's like, oh, I got stressed out. Like, I thought maybe like something happened or you needed something. I'm like, no. I'm like, I literally have no outbound calls. She's like, oh, I'm so stressed. Maybe I'm starting to see shit. And I was like, Gagan, you have to have fun tomorrow. And then she's like, yeah, I'm just so stressed out. I'm like, but what's the point if you don't have fun?
Oh, what'd she say?
And she's like, yeah, honestly, I felt like it actually hit her. Like what I said, I was like, Gagan, but like what actually is the point if you don't have fun? Because you're paying so much money, you're running around. I get like it's a last minute reception, so like obviously there are a lot of last minute vendors, last minute changes. Like her floor wrap person canceled on her. We had to find somebody in like 3 days. So I understand like it's really stressful with COVID and people trying to do last minute weddings, and that's why especially you should not expect things to be perfect, especially with vendors being crazy. Like if you're gonna book us like a week in advance or 2 weeks in advance, like don't expect for perfection. 100%. I'm sorry. And I have told people that have booked me last minute for decor, I'm like, listen, I gotta do what I'm only gonna be able to do. Like I can't do something that I've been thinking about for a month, planning for, bought stuff for, and have a lot more preparation versus you asking me to do something within a couple of days. Like, you know, you have to kind of lower your expectations like that too. But when I told her that, I was like, you're spending so much money, like so much money.
Yeah.
Like
so
what
true.
the actual is the fucking point of doing any of this if you're gonna go home and not have fun? And she was like, you're so right. And I'm
true.
like, this has to be about you. It can't be about people.
No, it can't be.
Yeah, because the minute you start making it about people, I think that's when
you lose perspective
and then have higher expectations, and then it starts to become like
everyone's problems
and then everybody's expectations, and then trying to meet everybody's expectations. And I feel like I do feel bad for some brides who have like those crazy ass families and like who have like,
okay, families out there, do you not understand the word of immediate?
No,
freaking
they don't.
Pictures.
No, they don't.
Because I had the same problem in mine, remember?
Yeah.
Like, nobody gets it.
Brown people don't.
If you did not pay or give birth to the children there, you need to leave.
Yeah. I think every brown person thinks they're immediate family.
Yeah.
Well, all in all, we're based on mine and Alysha's wedding experience, based on, you know, Alysha's own wedding experience, and like I already have these expectations for the future. It's that, you know, don't look for perfection, look to have fun. And, you know, look to make this moment about you and your family and about your partner and not about other people. And understand that when things do go wrong on your wedding day, it's already too late. Yeah, like there's literally
just go with the flow.
It's like when you haven't studied for an exam and you go to write the test. Like at that point, like it's already it's done.
Yeah,
like
it's how you handle it.
Yeah, it's how you handle it and
react.
Yeah, definitely. And I not everybody will react the same way, unfortunately. I do feel like it is easier said than done. It's definitely easier for me and Alysha to be like, hey, you know, have fun, relax, don't be nervous. But obviously that's not really gonna change how like other people feel, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so yeah, all in all, have fun.
Yeah, friends, have fun. Enjoy your wedding day. Expect 1 or 2 things to go wrong, and that way you'll be set.
Alysha said 5.
Yeah, well, I'm being nice now, okay? You don't have us. Unless you have us higher than 5, yes, 100%, because we'll solve them for sure. Anyways, friends, if you're not already following us on Instagram, please do follow us on Level Up with Raman and Alysha. And if you have any tips or concerns or something you want to hear us talk about next, please email us at ramanandalysha@gmail.com. Thanks.
Yeah. And check out our event planning page if you're looking for an event planner or a coordinator at Unforgettable Events with a Z.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.